You are watching Neatherback.
Developed in 2017 by indie studio Video Cult's two-man team Joar Jacobson and James Primate, the project eventually grew to include two other members, Allegra Norton and Lydia Esrig. Rain World is an open-world game featuring complex enemy AI similar to the Xenomorph from Alien Isolation, but instead of hunting you,
they're kind of doing their thing and you're sort of doing your thing, and you kind of have to just work it out. You have to deal with it. You've got to survive.
Open worlds are essentially large sandboxes where you can achieve your goals in whichever way you choose. The genre is marked by a lack of hand-holding and direction, where player freedom is valued and highly regarded. Games in the genre include No Man's Sky, The Witcher 3, Death Stranding, and Fortnite. These games have you be an adventurer exploring the cosmos, or trekking through Eastern Europe, or trying to get an epic dub in Tomato Town.
Absolutely horrific, my friend.
They all feature quests of some sort along with no incentive to rush the main story if there even is one, with the challenges you face being largely spontaneous and or self-imposed. In Rain World, your goal is to meet God and die. Rain World is one of the best open worlds as it basically gives you no direction except the implicit understanding that you need to eat food and not die. It begins with a little opening segment telling the story of your character, a slug cat traveling with your family, and ends with a somewhat heartbreaking image of you falling into the water as you are swept away from the rain. I quite like this. Too often do survival games start with an incredibly long opening sequence that you can't skip, sometimes incorporating an annoying forced tutorial before you get to actually engage with the game as a whole. Some games do it incredibly well, with a quick skippable cutscene jumping right into character creation. I come from a literary background, so when I play video games I usually play to enjoy a nicely crafted piece of media that brings me to new emotional heights and headspaces. But across the barren fields of the Candy Crush mines lay a lush and chaotic mess, where player freedom and freeform storytelling play alongside grandiose open worlds. When you first start a save, the game gives you a little tutorial, eat some food, leap over this hole, and climb some poles. What it doesn't tell you is the insane amount of other movement tech the game expects you to figure out by yourself, eventually finishing off with a 64-page Google Doc as your sanity finally snaps and you get put in the padded room with the nice people with chalk batons. This belies the main problem I find so difficult to get past in Rain World. It's richly detailed, the mechanics are fleshed out and unique, and it has an interesting world to explore, filled with creatures both interesting and terrifying in their makeup. Except the game gives you no direction except the really cryptic eyeball tentacles that sometimes give you instructions to head in directions that may or may not be where you actually want to go if you wish to beat the game. Let me give you an example to better explain my problem. Imagine your favorite show, let's say Breaking Bad. The plot of Breaking Bad is essentially about a high school chemistry teacher that, due to getting cancer and having only a couple of years left to live, decides to turn to cooking meth with a student of his in order to make a nest egg for his family. It turns out he's a very good cook, the best in fact, leading him to have immense social and economic power as he becomes one of the most sought-after individuals in the meth business. Over the course of its many seasons, he manages to accrue a significant amount of capital, enough for his kids to live comfortably, basically for like the rest of their lives. The issue is that megalomania and the need to feel important has made him blind to the real dangers he poses to his family, the people he was supposedly doing all of this for, leading to the tragic falling out and deaths of those that he cares about, as well as destruction spreading to the people he works with. Now imagine everything that I've just told you, except I removed the first season. Walter's cancer, the initial realization and taste of respect he receives for his immense talents that he always felt like he should have received, the character introductions, as well as basically his entire motivation for even cooking meth, all of this is removed and replaced with nothing. The plot becomes rudderless. This is the heart of Rain World's issue. There is an active plot happening in Rain World, except your initial slug cat has provided no direction and his motivation to get back to his family isn't even achieved. But we'll get into that later. Only about 11.4% of people have even gotten the achievement to meet the organism that provides you your first bit of actual direction, as in he literally gives you directions to follow. Players who don't know where to go, that end up aimlessly wandering around and inevitably dying constantly as a result of their newness, will feel like their time is being wasted as they ask themselves, am I even going in the right direction? Further exacerbating this is the sense in the community that giving new players any direction is a form of spoiling. The mere act of providing a lost player some help will diminish the player's enjoyment of the game. This is something I reject. Spoilers are not all categorically bad. In fact, studies have shown that knowing the plot beforehand increases the enjoyment you may have on a piece of media. Obviously, spoilers done maliciously are going to paint the scene spoil in anger. The fact that someone else stole your first fresh experience with something and that you will never get it back is a terrible thing to feel. However, providing some helpful hints that allow the player to better appreciate the developer's vision and decisions, as well as letting them focus on the moment, knowing that they are approaching the correct target, is good. In my writing of this, I seem to have narrowed down the issue for myself. Despite my praise in the initial portion of the video, the problem is with the starting cutscene. We're naturally inclined to follow along if a game starts with a story and assume that we should be moving towards a natural conclusion. Given the lack of communication from the slug cat, we can only guess that it wishes to return to its family. The game even gives you visions of the slug cat sleeping with its family and it looks lonely by itself. Except that never happens. After traversing through hell and high water, you'll find yourself in the chamber of a godlike being, and he basically gives you instructions that he says will give you what you want. Now, sensibly following the plot, you suffered a tremendous loss, you persevered, and after hardship you found yourself in contact with an entity that after giving you the gift of communication, promises to provide you with your wish despite you never talking. You follow his instructions, and it leads you down into the depths of Rain World, finally ending in a lucid trip and spectacular spectacle where it's implied you die. Permanently. It's a serious deviation of expectations. The slug cat goes from presumably searching for their family to voluntary suicide at a breakneck pace with apparently no qualms. It's a failure to communicate the developer's intention to have the slug cat change its goal, and due to that lack of clarity, it ends up being extremely confusing and jarring and not a little bit hilarious. I have a personal theory that the story was added late in development, and after following the dev blog on TIG forums, it's not really discussed except for some crumbs here and there. Wah Jacobson and James Primate deliberately did not share anything about the story, keeping it mostly close to their chest, so it's very difficult to follow exactly what was created first and what was added later on. Also, when talking about lore and world building stuff, your input has been really valuable, but in this domain, James and I have to have the last word because, well, it's our project. The cool thing about being indie is that you're not trying to appeal to some focus group or something after all, so I guess we'll have to ask you to just trust us a bit here. We have a cool idea, and when things start coming together, you'll get a better picture of it. Maybe you'll be disappointed because it doesn't line up with the idea you had imagined for the project's future, but we can't possibly line up everyone's ideas, so just give us the benefit of the doubt. It might still be a pretty cool idea regardless. So where does this all lead us? Well, I think it shows that there are two particular types of people that buy Rain World, each with their own set of expectations. One group purchases it with the intention to play it like a sandbox toy, treating the game as a sort of breeding ground for funny and interesting moments and pushing the physics systems to their limits. The other has the notion that the game is a story-based experience, meant to be beaten ad hoc with whatever tools the game explains or reveals to you in a natural progression. It's a sliding scale, but those that feel more inclined to the latter will find themselves using sticks and stones without even the realization that you're standing in a fully stocked lab for a hotbed of innovation. This is not a fault of the player. Everyone comes into games with a different mindset, and it is up to the developer, if they wish to cater to as many people as possible, to make their systems easy to understand. I truly do not blame anyone that drops Rain World due to its inscrutability, and to learn from where Rain World succeeds and fails in order to make better games in the future. I liked it enough to finish nearly every campaign, and that speaks for something. Hi everyone again, this will be one of our final meetings as a group before the Great Global Ascension. Oh, hi 7 Amulets, 8 Hides. How are the kids?
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You know that their ascension is next Monday, so they wanted to experience death in the cycle at least once before they go, so they just sort of died.
Ah, I see.
It's alright.
Wait, so the fact you're here means that you just let the cycle continue. You didn't join them? You're not gonna see them again, right?
Well, you know how it is. If I can get a weekend away from the kids, I might as well. I might as well enjoy my break. And their ascension's next Monday, and mine's like in 2 weeks from now. So it's not like I'm not gonna see them again. It's just I'll see them in ascension when I ascend.
Yep. Give me a second, guys.
You okay, 12 Slabs?
What is that happening in the background?
Yeah, right there. Yeah, thanks. It is I, 6 grains of gravel, mountains abound.
You came back as an echo, 6 grains of gravel? That is hysterical.
Do not mock me, I have unfinished business.
When are you gonna be done with my laptop, by the way?
Steve still owes me $154.
Steve ascended like 2 weeks ago, man. You're late. He's gone.
Back, guys. I'm gonna go
that
grab
and
some
his
blood
family.
fluid.
Their entire chapel already ascended.
Fuck. That means am I stuck here now? Are you kidding me?
Hey man, you were always the one who was talking about the fact that you were gonna continue on like a macho man. Well, I mean, now you get to. You're an Echo forever now. Congratulations, you got exactly what you wanted, right? Hey guys, sorry, I was AFK just for now. Did I just hear 6 grains on the mic somewhere? Didn't that guy ascend like 2 months ago?
Yeah, hello, Moonlight Glow. It is I, 6 grains of gravel.
Give me that back.
Please give me that.
Sheesh, what a guy, right? Jesus.
Middle of saying something.
Hey, like, the cycle's almost up. Do we want to maybe take this meeting again, like maybe tomorrow? If everybody has the time? Yeah, sure. Alright then, I guess we'll see everybody back here. Tomorrow, let's say sunrise? Yeah, sure. We should, by the way, we should catch a movie sometime. If you are free.
It's